What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy day. This is your host, your founder of Breaking to the Future, Joshua C. Taylor. I got my guy here, Raj on. What's up, man? How are you doing today?
How are you? Good to see you, man. Good to see you again.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah, you know how we do it. Hey, man, just start it off with telling the people who you are, where you're from, where you went, how you broke into the crypto space because you are a crypto wizard. Tell the people who you are, how you got here, and what the deal is.
Crypto is all about decentralization. We are the wizard when everybody is a wizard. Okay, so it's all about letting people know what we're doing and getting the world up to speed with it, which is already happening today. A lot of people like myself are speaking, different parts of the world. As we speak, you would have another conference happening in some part of the world talking about decentralization, cryptocurrencies, the impact of blockchain, and just the amount of transformation that it's going to bring to the world of finance, right? I think it's a great topic, and would love to speak more about it, share my background and what we do and how we got here, so that hopefully we'll learn from the others and also be able to talk about what we do, so that people can get more used to what crypto and blockchain is.
Yeah.
So, so starting off, just wanted to give you a quick understanding of my background. I started my life in a middle-class Indian family in a city called Kolkata, which is one of the cities in India. From very humble means, my father is a middle-class Indian family, focused a lot on education. I really, my background is not business. My father ran a small farm in the construction area, but it's a very small scale business. And my mother used to work in a nonprofit organization helping children with education in this city in Kolkata. So I went to US. I educated myself there. I did my undergrad. I did a master's in engineering. I went to Tufts University. Then I worked at MIT for about a year in completely different area. It's has to deal with semiconductors, material science, fully different areas. At that time, crypto, nobody has heard about crypto. It was not yet 2008 or 2009. So, and people started knowing about it a lot later than that.
Mhm.
And then, I moved. I always dreamt, when I was, even in my school days, if somebody would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always wanted to say that I want to get to the Silicon Valley. I want to be an entrepreneur. So something triggered in me. Maybe I ran some books that I read, about, I would say the effort and the transformation that capitalism brings, people, founders, entrepreneurs bring. And that was mostly through books. I would say I felt that intrinsic urge to sort of go and be an entrepreneur. And I said to myself, if I want to be an entrepreneur, where could it be better than Silicon Valley, right? So I did my education in Boston, so Tufts University, and then worked for a year in a research lab, MTL at MIT. And then I said, I'm gonna do a backpack and I'm gonna go to California, and that's it. That's about it. It's like a literally a couple of days. I spoke to my family and said, hey, I'm gonna go to California.
Yeah.
So there was a company then in I struggle to remember the name. It had been a while. It was so short duration that there was a semiconductor company that offered me in Boston, but I said, I have to live my life in California. That's what I want to be.
Mhm.
So I traveled, backpacked, and just came to California without a job, with literally $600 in my bank, because my father is could not fund my education in the U.S. Okay, so I got a scholarship, at Tufts, so I managed the education. I was working as RA and a TA, during those 2 years at Tufts. So I saved a little bit of money, which was about $600, and I came to California. I rented a place. I think I even borrowed like a couple of $100 from my parents, and then I rented a place and started looking for a job because I have to make a living. If I don't, then I can't live there, right?
Mhm.
So Then I was fortunate enough to get the first job in applied materials. I don't know if you have heard about them. They're one of the largest,
Took
semiconductor
now.
equipment manufacturers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was lucky that, one of the guys thought that they're going to hire what they call the new college grads. So I got hired as a new college grad there. And I started working there for, the first year, I had that bug in my head that I have to do something, right? So, I always moonlighted. So I always had been doing something in the night. So right at the first year, we started a mapping data company. So we started creating mapping data with a couple of guys from Applied itself. So I made some friends there with my colleagues, another new college grad, and then we started doing this mapping data generation company. We sold mapping data to some of the other larger players. Then over time, we did a bidding company, and then we sold it to another company in the bidding space. Then there was an area where when I was working on renewable energy, we created a company together where we did electric vehicle charging stations. So that's another venture we did, which made some sense. Of course, we tried a million things in the middle that it's probably not worth taking the time here. But it's always, you keep trying, you keep thinking. It's like it never gets out of your head. I finished my job at 8 or 9. Sometimes I'd go to a Starbucks, and that Starbucks would know me every day. I would come there, and that would stay open till 1:30 because it was a late night, Starbucks in Santa Clara. And there, I constantly started creating these ventures. Some made some were profitable, some were possible to be sold off in acquisition, and there were so many others that went nowhere, right? So, needless to say. So, and then I developed a patent in the piezoelectric material because I had a material science background. So, it is about generating electricity by converting mechanical energy. So, we did that. There was a patent I registered and I sold to a German company. Then eventually, with all this going on, I was still having a job. So people talk about risk. I consider myself as a risk mitigator rather than a risk taker. So I want to do this, I know, but then I had little means to take risk to support myself. So in 2015, I was offered a senior level position as a head of technology for one of the largest private sector bank in India. So I came back to India in 2015, and I joined there, and it was a very senior role with a team of close to 4,000 people, 5 level of management. So it was a CTO role, but they didn't call it CTO. It was a technology innovation role. Um, so I was managing 130 applications there for the bank. Then I was managing the blockchain portfolio, which was my personal interest was. And I started getting into crypto since 2012, 2013 timeframe. Started trading a little bit, learning about what they are, the technology, blockchain itself, with a heavy focus on the technology rather than a lot on trading. And then when I accepted the job, I knew that I would focus a lot on blockchain and crypto as one of the reasons why I was so interested in the job. So, in 2016, we did 1 year later after I joined the job, we did the first interbank transaction on blockchain for trade finance and remittance. It was kind of very new then. There were hardly, many banks that did that. I think there were 1 or 2 other banks that were tinkering with it. So we took it to production between India and UAE, so two of the largest banks in these two geographies. So that was, received some accolades from the media. And, as part of my job, I was connecting with a lot of the bank CTOs elsewhere globally because blockchain is all about collaboration, right? It's about working together. So I was connecting with a lot of banks and their technology heads and their other, CXO levels. So at the end of it, I realized that with that entrepreneurial bug in the back of my mind all the time, I realized that, okay, what do I need? I have some money from my previous ventures. I have the knowledge in this space. I have connections with the banks, right? And then I had a ready team, right? So I left the job and I created HashCash. It started a little bit before that, but I left actually after the company was created. There were, I hired some people that were running the company before I even joined it.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I joined in 2016, HashCash, and then some of my team members from the blockchain decided to follow me, so they joined HashCash. So I was lucky to be, kind of prepared, one, because I've been doing this all the time. Second, the preparation met the opportunity, and the opportunity was great because, I had the team, I had the connections at that point, I had a little bit of funds saved up from the last ventures, and I had a great market that, I decided to leap into, right? And unless you quit and then get full time, and you'll never be able to really explore the potential of a market, right?
Mm.
And that's how HashCash was born. And I will let you ask me more questions.
Yeah.
So go ahead. That's how the company was born.
Yeah. Thank you for that full background. You've done a lot. You've had a robust 20 plus year career. And you seem like you're just getting started, big bro. So this is awesome. I can go so many ways with this. I said this last interview. I was like, I can go so many ways with this. Um, what did you what when you were already very right applied materials, you're very already technical, you understand things, you're in the trenches of innovation. So when you saw Bitcoin, when you saw the blockchain and cryptocurrency technology, cryptography, what really sparked you to say, "Oh, this is really interesting. Like, I think this is it. Like, this is the future."
Right. I want to be very real. I know a lot of entrepreneurs say it was a spark. I looked up in the sky and it shined at me, right? So I'm going to say that because it's hard to learn anything from that, right? So it's hard to learn anything from that. So I'm going to try to make it more, and when I hear those things, and I know that, like I started with, my dad gave me $100 and I turned it into $100 million. Those stories are, so cliche in my ears. It's like, Donald Trump telling the story, right? So
Yeah, that rarely
I don't
happens.
want to get political there,
Yeah,
but
right.
yeah, but a lot of people have a lot of advantage, and frankly, you have to look into their backgrounds. I mean, some of them they start with a very well-established family. Some of them were sons of, great lawyers, or they had a great background. They were lucky to be in a family where they never had to thought about supporting themselves or their families, right? So
Mhm.
frankly, I really started from a point of where it's quite low, I would say, in the sense that, and that's, I think it's a strength, because at any point I never feel low. I always feel positive, and like I was telling you the other day, in the course of running the company, I never feel any fear, right? So I feel that this is going to happen. I feel very positive, and I think you have to lose the fear in your mind, right? Which is very important. You have to lose the fear. That's there,
Mhm.
because you're dealing with a lot of money and you have to make the right decisions. And if you take a wrong turn, you could make a mistake. And a lot of people's lives are responsible for, based on what strategies you put in place. But having all of that in mind, you still have to be fearless, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like losing the fear of God and man, right? So, like I was saying the other day too. So, I think the coming back to the question of Bitcoin and blockchain. So I got very gradually into it. When I was in the 2015, 2016 timeframe, I did realize it's a massive opportunity, but then nobody was sure, and I'm not going to say I was completely sure, right?
Mhm.
I treaded into it gradually. I tried to take the next best step rather than thinking very long. So I got into it and I said, what's my next best step, right? And try to understand certain things were in the blockchain market, right? So, every market has their own qualms, and you have to understand how this plays out, right? So those are very important key decisions, right? Understanding that blockchain is a great technology, but it's going to only bloom to its full potential with cryptos. And I started with blockchain. I started with a banking background, right, when I got into it. But I realized that blockchain, while it will transform the world, but it's going to take some time, right? And important thing in entrepreneurship or business is to understand to be in time, not being ahead of time, or being, obviously you can't be late, right? But
Mhm.
then you don't want to be ahead of time too much, because if you're too ahead of time, then the people in time would actually do good business and they will raise more capital, they will generate more capital, and then eventually your ahead of time ideas will never come to fruition, right? So it's important to be in time because you are, you have to generate revenue and you have to be able to generate capital to grow the business eventually. And the funny thing is that, I never believed in raising money, and you will see that we are, this PayBito itself is 8 to 10 million run rate this year. We have not raised, outside capital. I have funded the venture, bootstrapping it, if you will call it bootstrapping. I don't think it's any more at the size of bootstrapping. We generate, we're at 41% EBITDA. So, but you'll realize that, there was, I never depended on external capital. I felt that I'm not going to knock the VC's doors with a PowerPoint. Never going to do that. Rather, it'll be fun to have them knock, right? Rather than, with a business that's attractive as an investment. That's the key. I mean, never depend on anyone. Never think that somebody's going to come and help you. Be self-sufficient, be independent, and create a business that can stand on its own, right? That was my, thought. And if you look at Microsoft, for example, from 1975 to 11 years later, right? They went IPO and Gates did not raise any capital, right? So they got one VC that, that gave them basically $1 million, which they did not need in return for 5% of the company. But what he did is he created a self-sufficient company. There are a lot of examples that have raised money and have been very successful. I'm not saying that any model is better than the other, but me, from my personal background, I knew that, like we are speaking today, I'm also a person of color, and I don't have a privileged background, and I knew that I didn't have connections that would just fund me by looking at my face, right? So I had to prove there that this is a business that stands on its own. It's extremely profitable, and it can generate capital. We are extremely disciplined with cost, right? So all those aspects to prove to the world that yes, it can be done without any external funds, right? That's what my main goal was. And to answer your question even more directly, it's a revelation that came to me over the years. Even in the first couple of years, it's not always about pumping in all the money. You also need to know when to pump the money in when you're generating capital. So we were very cautious. We invested even in real estate in the first 2 years because we want to make sure that we would generate real estate income, and even if the business goes down and we have to stick around for a while, we can support ourselves with that income, for example. So it's a weird way of thinking for many people, but then I realized last year that this is going to be really going to be a huge market, and we are already in the middle of it. So we started pumping in all the capital, moving faster, and now it's at a point where we are quickly growing. We are adding a lot of people to the employee base, and we are more stable and confident and more into the game than ever before.
Yeah, thank you for that, man. We're learning about entrepreneurship, life lessons. We're getting it all right here. What can you go into PayBito? What is PayBito? Why does PayBito exist? Who do you serve? Break it down, and talk about where you guys are at now and where you guys want to be.
Right. PayBito we are, I think I can safely say, or at least presumably say, that we are the #1 exchange technology provider in the world today. Our products, and I say that because there is no second company that's close to the products that we offer. And this is not something I'm saying, it's what our clients are saying. So they come to us and they say that they have looked at least 20 people, right, in the market, and they have never seen a product like this, right? And they come from other companies and they say that, not satisfied, and this is what we are looking for. So anyway, our core focus is exchange technology, right? So we offer cryptocurrency exchange technology, very high performance, high frequency trading optimized matching engines. We offer robust, heavy duty exchange technology, the entire suite of exchange technology, ranging from the application to matching engines to anything you name it around exchange technology. Mm-hmm. And we work with large international brokers typically, and also with a lot of small and medium-sized businesses. who are launching their own exchanges around the world. We are working with people who are launching their own broker terminals, broker applications, broker business in the cryptocurrency space. We also have a line of products in the custody space, cryptocurrency custody. And we work with a good number of banks now, especially this year, in offering them custody applications where they can manage their own custody for their users and offer the users the ability to store cryptocurrencies with them, with the bank. So we are the enablers is our primary, objective here. We enable people to run successful businesses in this space.
Yeah. So you're the back end plug for the space.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there are many exchanges that are running using our technology, but one of our core objective is for our clients to brand themselves while we help them with the back end. We set up their entire back end. We keep their technology, at running all the time, right? And they don't have to worry about the technology. We take care of it 24/7, 365 days a year with our service level agreements. So, that's how we work with most of our clients. Our clients are enterprises, which are getting into cryptocurrencies, brokers, large banks, small and medium-sized businesses, diversifying into this area.
Would you say a comp, maybe I'm off here, but would you say a comp is Bloomberg Terminal?
Broker terminal. So when you are trading on an exchange, you would usually connect to that exchange using the broker terminal. So a broker terminal is nothing, in very simple terms. It's a interface with which the broker would be hosted in the broker's infrastructure, through which the broker's traders would trade, and the broker would send trades to the exchange and receive responses from the exchange.
Nice. What, how did you come up with this idea? What, or with this focus? How did you see this was an opportunity?
I would say a lot of it is hustle. Okay. So, it is not about, dreaming about it in the night and coming up in the morning with an idea that shines again. It's a lot of hard work, and it's basically hashing out a lot of conversation with a lot of people, realizing that you don't know it all, and being very open to learning and constantly talking with people that can help you, and use that knowledge and be able to apply that knowledge in a way that that is applicable to your market, to your products. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of conversations. It's a lot of hashing out different ideas, fighting, experimenting, realizing from other parallel markets. So, it's a combination of so many things. End of the day, there is no one silver bullet. It's really a lot of conversations, trying to learn from others, inviting opinions and views of others, and sort of, understanding those data points and the truth behind them, and making sense of that all, right?
Yeah. Nice. What is PayBito's focus right now? And then where do you want the company to be in summer 2022?
2022, I think, is a good time frame. It'll be more meaningful and real. It's 1 year out. So if you were asking me 5 years out, then it would be a different answer. But I think 2022, our major focus would be top line growth, meaning, going out there and, letting the technology be adopted, right? Constantly growing on the top line, working with more and more clients, offering our existing clients the best possible service in the world, retaining them so that they never think about, even going somewhere else. That's our core focus: customer support, client services, after sales support, after sales services. Those are the core focus. And also, as the market also transforms with custody, working with major banks, signing up more banks who would find our product, the right product to operate their crypto businesses. And also then heading in the banking direction, because I strongly believe that digital banking, which is already clear to everybody that it's going to replace conventional banks. And I think digital banking would be even more powerful, or ever more so much more powerful, if it couples itself with crypto. So what we are, again, we are very focused in crypto domain. Okay, so we are building the banking application, and I think in 2022, towards the third quarter or the fourth quarter, we would start to see that the banking applications would tend to see some traction from the market more than it's seeing now.
Yeah. So PayBito would be helping the digital custody platforms scale, right? You all will not be holding custody yourselves, but you'll be helping them. Is that correct?
So you are correct in your understanding the way you described it. So we are, again, the primary objective of the company is enabling other enterprises, right?
Yeah.
So that would mean that these enterprises would be doing their own custody, self-custody, and we will enable them to do that. They will be completely be able to stand, be independent, be able to run their self-custody with their clients and customers. That's a core objective. Having said that, we also offer custody as a service. So if you notice that we are capable of offering ourselves exchange services and custody applications. So there are clients that we have which are willing to go into a SaaS model where we offer them the service of custody. And there are other clients that would like to set it up on their own. So both models work. But because we work with large enterprises and they mostly want to host it on their own, so a large portion of our business is enabling them to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, nice. But if a platform said, "Hey, we do want to hold custody with you guys, since you already are the bottom layer, we trust you guys already. So why not have that as another source of revenue for PayBito, right?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are equipped to do that. We are in the process of applying for a national banking license under the Office of Controller, so of the currency. So it's a federal banking license. So we, at some point, once we get that, then we can, currently we hold the registration with FinCEN and a few other, licenses that are appearing to be the right license for crypto. It's a funny way of seeing it, because we are trying to constantly work with regulators in so many geographies, trying to figure out, helping them co-draft regulations in certain cases in some geography, or advising them on, regulations, and trying to make sure that this market is, protects the users. It gives the Freedom of Information Act. We hold that good. It protects users against data leaks and privacy and security at the same time, balancing those acts. So it goes hand in hand, and we wouldn't say that we are a company that believes in anarchy. I think it's governments, corporation, people. It's a collaboration. We can't live without the other. So I think that's our philosophy, and that's the direction that we are heading.
Nice, nice. Where do you think the public and private sector are in terms of relations? Is it just geographical? Maybe India is just a little different in terms of the US, or of course China is a lot different. But where do you think these different parts of the world are in terms of relations, working together, collaborating?
Right. I think the core here is, I believe that the democracies of the world share a certain relationship with each other, because it's a free world. It's a I strongly believe in democracy, and I think the countries that are democratically governed are at huge advantage in certain ways. Of course, the decision making in any democracy is slower, but it gives you the freedom of choice, right? Which is, I think, is the most important thing. And I think countries which are free countries would see the value of cryptos. They will fear it less. There is a inherent fear of the governments in adoption of cryptocurrencies, and one of the primary reasons for that is because larger the transformation, the larger is the resistance, right? So when I see resistance, I smile and tell to myself, I know how big the transformation is.
Mhm.
and I expect resistance. Because change will have resistance, and
Yeah.
changes like this that we are sitting in the midst of are extremely big changes. It's basically completely rebuilding the financial system in many ways. We think it's just an asset class, but a lot of people realize it's just not an asset class. It's a transformation.
It's a new world,
Because,
a new universe.
yeah, exactly. We work with some of the central banks in the other side in HashCash, not PayBito, but through HashCash. We work with quite a few number of central banks which are launching central bank digital currency. So sometimes I see that it's born out of fear. It's like,
Mm.
if we don't do it, where will we be?
Screwed.
So kind of fear,
Yeah.
right? And without very clear objectives as to why they're doing it and how they're going to do it. But we try to advise them and try to streamline their thinking in a way where they can adopt digital currency in the right way. And I think um, we will reach a point where CBDCs, fiat currencies, cryptocurrencies are going to stand side by side and offer the consumer the choice, right? The choice to use, the choice to choose what they want to use with what they want to do. And we're going to see that day. It's very near. It's already happening
Yeah.
today. Like it or not, there are remittances happening using bitcoins. There are remittances happening using cryptocurrencies, and it's magnificent, I would say. Receiving payment in USD or any other currency. You raise invoices. Of course, you do all the compliance work, but at the end of the day, you are dependent on conventional banking channels, which takes
Forever.
usually T+3, right? Bitcoin, my customer, I offer him a invoice. I say, here is a contract, and I will send you a Bitcoin invoice. Here is the company address to which you pay, and he pays the money instantly. Arrives. We have all the documents that are required for compliance, but the money arrives. Payments are quicker. We pay our vendors; they're quicker, and then of course, we are fully compliant with reporting and tax stuff, where we report our gains and everything, because we work with regulated exchanges where it's important that you are completely compliant in terms of KYC, in terms of KYT and AML, right? In terms of IRS and tax filing. So it's important to be compliant and regulated to create a long-lasting business, and I think that's also a core to creating a great business.
Nice. Awesome. I have lots of questions, but one question, can you explain what a remittance is for the people?
I think it means more freedom. It means more decentralization of finance, because we are sitting in a system that has failed us in a lot of ways, frankly. What have we seen from 1929 to this? We have seen that in spite of a great financial depression crisis that has basically destroyed economies and peoples and lives, we are at the same point where we might have uplifted a lot of people from poverty, but we have also created massive financial disparity, right? And we have created a lot of wealth, but then that wealth is so concentrated that even today there are countries around the world which are with a below poverty line people, and massive number of people below poverty line.
Mhm.
And then I'm not a believer where I would just focus on disparity, because like that you can get richer. I don't have a problem, right? I also got richer, but you just got richer by 100x than I am, right? But
Yeah.
that shouldn't bother me, because if you look at go back a decade, I was poorer and I grew maybe 10x and you grew 100x. I mean, I should not be envious about it. It's fine. So disparity should always not be looked at as a negative thing, because sometimes that's how things work. Because if you don't incentivize the smartest of the people in the society, then you will not create enough jobs. But then it's also important to ensure some level of distribution of that wealth. And when it becomes huge disparity, and then people losing jobs and suffering and not able to put food on the table, that's when something is wrong.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
Mhm.
If everybody has food on the table, everybody's leading a happy life, they have all their basic needs, and they are satisfied, right? They have at least had the in a certain level of Maslow's hierarchy needs satisfied. That is okay, right? But then we are standing at a point where we have the super rich that have more money than they could ever need, and then we have people that are not able to put food on table. That's not right. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
And what we have seen time and again with the financial system, that the way we look at money, the financial system looks at it in a different way, right?
Mm.
For common people like us, we look at money, as a means to getting by, right? As a means to purchasing things.
Mm.
The rich people and the super rich look at money as a way of controlling the society, right?
Mm.
So that's the difference of how we look at money and how they look at it. So they will never be enough, right? Exactly. That's it. You're right. You point in the right direction. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all about controlling the society. That's what they want the money for. So the super rich will never be satisfied, because more money they have, more control they have. So it's not about what you can buy with money. It's more about how much you can control, right?
Yeah. So
I think we need a fairer system, and current system is failing us. And I think we get a fresh opportunity with this, with blockchain cryptocurrency, that we can rebuild our society, our financial system, where we give ourselves a chance to again, try to break that, the cycle of wealth creation, cycle of disparity, cycle of unfairness, and we give ourselves a great chance to rebuild that again.
Nice. Beautiful. So fiat leads to disparity and control of few, and crypto and blockchain leads to freedom and prosperity of many. That's what we're hoping for.
We are hoping for it. Then again, remember that nothing lasts forever, right? So by no means I'm, drawing a dreamy world with cryptos, and and I'm saying that fiat doesn't work and cryptos work. Humans would have a tendency of centralization. So this gives us a fresh chance. So that's what I keep harping on, that it's not going to be a dreamy world. It gives us a chance to build a new system that would last for at least 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 years of fairness, and then people would tend to centralize again, right?
Circle.
Right. It gives us a fresh chance to rebuild the society again with this new technology. And again, technology is technology. We have, this would definitely, create a system which would break free from the current, cycle of the people holding the wealth. So it's going to spread across. But then again, we have to keep it fair. It's our job to keep it fair, to keep it decentralized over a long run. So it's not a dreamy world. It's people, the leaders of society, people we choose to lead us, right, has a huge responsibility where, they have to make sure that the society stays fair.
Yeah. Great. Again, my last question, we talked about this at the beginning. You said that this is going to happen a lot faster than we think. What does that mean? When is it going to happen in your eyes right now? And what is that happening? What is the happening?
So if you think about it, if you just let your ideas run wild, right, then when you'll probably see the world in the way it would be in 10 or 20 years, right? So you cannot limit your ideas. You have to let it flow. Think what could be possible, because once you see a couple of transformation cycles, large transformation cycles in technology, you realize that anything is possible.
Facts.
And what you think is impossible will be possible. It will be the future.
Like going
because nothing, exactly, because nothing can stop technology. Nothing can stop technology, right? And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. So if you start imagining a world where you let your ideas run amok, let them flow freely without any constraints of the world around you, you will probably hit a lot of realities that is going to happen in some years. Okay. So an exercise I personally, try to do every now and then. So I just, lock myself up in a room, and, I just, try to think, concentrate, and, just think that, where do I think the world is going to head, right? Where would be the largest markets? Where would be the largest transformation, largest changes? And I really think if you look at cryptos, right? Cryptos would lead to a more stable system, because it's going to spread power, right? Power is, when power is bad, when it's in the hand of a few. That's the core. Power is bad when it's in the hands of a few. Power has to be decentralized. Power has to be distributed. So I see a world where the financial power and financial power is what drives the world. And I think most people would agree to that, right? Finance is what drives the world, right? It drives people, it drives economies, it drives so many different markets. It's everything in most cases, right? So if the governments are holding power, that's bad. If the corporations are holding power, that's bad. If the people are just holding power, that's also bad. Okay, in the sense that you cannot also, you have to give the right people the ability to make decisions. If you give decision making in the hands of wrong people, that would also not lead to right results. So it's always favored that people have the power, and only way compared to one institution or one government, right? An ideal world is one where the government has enough power and it represents the people. The capitalists or the corporations have enough power and it represents their employees and their shareholders and the larger world in general. So, and there are not just one corporation, there are hundreds of corporations and small and medium-sized businesses that hold the power. That's what we are talking about, a more society with more parity, right? That's what the society that we want to look forward to, where power is not in the hands of just a government or 5 or 4 corporations. It's in the hands of many corporations. It's in the hand of spread across the people, institutions, organizations, our local and community leaders, right? So that's the ideal world, and I think we have a fair chance with cryptos to do that, because what crypto would do is it would break the financial monopoly from the central banks and the governments and bring it to the hands of small and medium-sized businesses and to the hands of the people. And I think that's a thought to think about, and that's where I think the world is heading in the next few years. And you will see signs from everywhere. You will see signs from everywhere. People offering services, launching their own cryptocurrency. So if I am an independent business and I'm doing well, my cryptocurrency would have value. So we tend to call that ICOs. I mean, I know it's mired with a lot of scams and things, which is very true which sometimes happens for new areas and markets. And it happens because the government is not playing its role. The role of the government is to regulate, right? And then monitor that regulations and do audits on corporations if the regulations are followed or not, right? So that's the job of the government. Whenever you do not regulate a market, you create parallel markets, you create black markets, you create deep webs and illegal things happening on the deep web. So it's a responsibility of the government to make sure scams do not happen, along with the people, right? Of course, I mean, nobody's supporting a scammer, but my point is government has a power to stop these scams in other areas. But again, coming back to the point, we see that with the concept of ICOs, we see that with the concept of numerous coin launches, popularity of coins. I know investors have a tendency of going for hype. For example, I would bring Dogecoin into the picture, which is, in my view, is basically useless, and nobody should buy it, frankly. And it's simply the people who are just trying to gain attention in the media. Sometimes come out and say it's a great thing, and then the next day they come and say it's a bad thing. It's just they always want to stay in the news, right? That's all they want to do. They care about nothing else other than staying in the news and then using that to boost their stocks, right? It's very clear, and to any average person, that that's what they're doing. So be careful when you invest in cryptos. Like anybody would tell you, do not look at hype. Look at fundamental technology. Look at value, and look at the long run. I recommend people that if you buy a crypto, believe in it, hold on to it, balance your portfolio. I'm not saying bet on one crypto, but then do not look at getting rich overnight, because that's when you get poor overnight. Okay. So that's a key. I would leave it with, that's the world we are getting into, where we would see a lot of, decentralization of power using crypto and blockchain. And that's what I live to see. And that's what I would love to see in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Nice, Raj. Thanks, man. This is amazing. This is great. A lot to chew on for me, but definitely the audience. Where can people keep up with you, follow you, stay in touch?
Always enjoy these conversations, Joshua. Always love it. So I told you, I'll take it on a Sunday. Be whatever it is, I will talk to you, and I absolutely magnificently enjoy this conversation.
Dude,
It was such a fun to talk to you again, and anytime, let me know. Okay.
yes, definitely, man. Thank you. Where can people follow you? Do you have a Twitter or do you have anything? So,
Yeah, I mean, like you could follow my Twitter. I think it goes by admin HashCash, and you can just look me up. There's a Raj Chowdhury's Twitter, or you could follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever you want to do it. Twitter is a great place. I'm constantly sending some notes. I don't want to bombard people with Twitter messages, but then I do send out some important tweets every once in a while, at least a few times a week.
cool, cool. Thanks, big bro. You have a great rest of your Sunday. I really appreciate your time. And we'll be talking again soon, on and offline.
Thank you so much. And namaste and goodbye. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace. Take care.
All right, man.
Bye for now.
Bye. That was Raj, uh, founder of HashCash and PayBito. You could check him out. I'll put his info below, and I'll put it in the for the podcast in the notes. That was really great. We got entrepreneurial life lessons, his history of crypto, the blockchain. He's done a lot of things in and outside of the crypto blockchain. So, hey, we're breaking to the future. Come here, share with your family, your friends, your community. We're breaking to the future because the future's now. Love you guys. Peace.